Let's talk Tanya for the third of Iyar of a leap year. Today we will do chapter 45 in Tanya, and we're still on the topic of love. We've talked about different levels or different entry points into love for God. We spoke about the Ava Rabbah, the great love, Avas Olam, a love which emerges from our contemplation, and then we spoke about the two hybrid loves in the last chapter. Today we're going to talk about a different entryway into love, and that is a love which is a product of a feeling of compassion. We know that we have three forefathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and they represent, Avraham was kindness, love, Yitzchak was severity, awe, Yaakov was beauty, which is compassion. And every one of us has a soul which contains all three of these attributes, but every one of us also identifies more with one than another. And for some people, their entryway to God, their entryway into relationship with God is through compassion. What does that look like? So it starts with feeling compassion for one's own soul. Think about it for a second. Before our soul came down into the body, the soul was in the higher worlds, basking in the radiance of God's presence, enjoying this very special relationship with God. And then the soul comes down here into this world, enters a body, a physical body, a coarse body, a mundane body, a body that has desires and wants physical luxuries and food and meat and honor and glory, all of these things. What a rachmanis! It's such a pity on the soul. And that's true even for the greatest tzaddik, by the way. Even the greatest tzaddik comes down, ultimately, it is a huge descent for the soul to come down from Gan Eden and to come into this world and enter a body. How much more so if a person also has messed up and has sinned? And that makes this descent and the rachmanis even bigger. Why is this important? Because if a person is feeling blocked and unable to generate a feeling of love for God, so what's required is we need God to have mercy on us. We need God to have compassion on us and to give us love as a gift. How do we evoke God's mercy? So this is a rule that we discussed many times. Our behavior over here causes a reciprocal effect from above. When we feel the rachmanis on ourselves, when we feel that this compassion on ourselves, and by the way, also on God, because ultimately our soul is a part of God, that also causes God's rachmanis, God's compassion to be awakened. God has compassion on us, and He gives us this gift of love. Compassion unlocking the love. Now, what's amazing about this is that all of the previous levels of love that we spoke about, which we enumerated in the beginning of today's segment, they all require us to be on a certain level. I need to be on a level, I need to contemplate, I need to get to that place where I'm actually in that spiritual level of, I don't want to say the word worthy of, but where I've earned that love, where I'm on that level. This love is more accessible and easier because you don't have to be in any level. Because this love is a product of God's compassion on us, God can give us love even if we're not on the level, even if we're not worthy of it. And that's why this love is even more accessible than all the loves that we spoke about in the previous chapters. Tomorrow, we will start the next chapter. We're going to start chapter 46. And with this, we're going to talk about the absolutely most accessible level of love that there is.